What up, people? Kamari Ellis here. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wealthy Wednesdays. As always, we come to y'all live and direct every Wednesday and talk about whatever questions you might have about money, taxes, stocks, insurance, business. Anything about money is on the table. We can talk about it. We can have some fun around it. We can learn about it. I even learn sometimes when I'm doing these shows. So it's all around good time fun. Do me a favor. This whole show, right? This whole show is around helping to raise the financial IQ of those in my community, the Black community. So do me a favor. Share this out with somebody and like the video while you're at it. And so while everybody's coming in, I'll just say my hellos. So Joe Brown is in the building. Mid-Atlantic's here. How y'all doing? Reagan Brown's here. How y'all doing? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. So I got one question already, but let's wait for a couple more folks to pile in and talk about what's going on. Y'all been seeing what's been happening in these markets. Market is still going crazy. Today we saw a Tilray run up 30, 40, maybe even 50%. Got to go back and check the chart. I know I got out. I actually own a couple of shares of Tilray. Actually mad that I didn't buy more, but that's one of the things you're going to face when you are an investor. You're not going to do everything perfectly. And for all these quote unquote social media guru people that say they do, they're lying. I'm just saying, I'm just letting y'all know. You can always be like, man, I wish I would have brought more. I know that's what I'm saying now with Tilray, because I know I personally spotted Tilray. Well, one, if y'all been rocking me for a minute, y'all know I've been talking about Tilray since its inception, right? Been in it, been out it, been in it again. And so when anybody remembers, Tilray first IPO back in 2018 at around $22. At around $22. Now, don't be confused. I don't like IPOs for regular, everyday people. All right. So follow my own rules. I waited about a month before I brought. And then I brought around 22. And then the sucker ran up to about 300. 300, not 300, but 300. All right. If y'all understand the slang, y'all know what I'm talking about. So it ran up and then it fell precipitously. Fell like crazy. Like a new snow day in the wintertime. Fell like crazy. It went so far as to go all the way down to about $4. And so I saw it at 4 and I said, man, this is going to rise. This is going to rise. Didn't buy though. I didn't buy. Missed the opportunity. Didn't buy. Then I started to see it get up around 7. Brought a little bit. Then brought more of it around 7. More of it around $11. Now here's the thing. In my Robinhood account, I only had like a couple $100, and so that's what I invested in. I never moved more money into Robinhood because I was a little teed off about Robinhood, and that's kind of part of the reason why I'm leaving Robinhood. But I left. Well, I didn't have enough money in there, and I didn't think to buy it in any of my other accounts, and so I just kind of waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. It never brought more. So bad. I mean, again, it was my mistake. I wasn't focused. So I had to be responsible. I had to be accountable. Anytime you're going to be an investor, you got to carry the burden. You got plenty of crosses to bear. And listen, if you're not going to be an accountable investor, you are not going to be a successful investor. I'll repeat that again. If you are not going to be accountable, hold yourself accountable, you will not be a successful investor. Why? Because the market doesn't care about your excuses. They don't care about your complaining. All they care about is, do you have money for the trade? Are you putting it in or not? That's it. Sorry, folks. Store is closed. Either you got money to get in or you don't. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So I didn't do what I needed to do, and I missed out on a great opportunity. I would have never thunk in my wildest dreams that I would have seen Tilray run from like 19ish to almost $75. And that's what it hit at today. And it's just like, wow. So I'm sure somebody want to talk about that. I'm sure. All right, looks like some of us are getting in the building. Jose, my brother. Jose, I want to thank you. Thank you for your recommendation. I talked to your friend. I'm going to meet with her soon, so I appreciate the I appreciate the referral. Tiffany, how you doing? Evening to you. Hope all is well. Tilray is bae. Nah, Tilray ain't bae, but Tilray can listen, I'm gonna be silly tonight, y'all, so don't judge me. Tilray can be one of my side joints though. All right. Black men don't cheat, but I'm just saying Tilray can be one of my side joints. And I say that to say because I don't really believe in any of them. They can all go up, they can all go down. They're not loyal to you, so how can you be loyal to it? I always say to people, you can't be loyal to people that aren't loyal to you. You shouldn't love people that don't love you. So that's just one of my things there. All right, Katisa, how are you, lady? How are you? So Jose, I'm guessing you got in on some of those trades though. So that's good money. Miss Alicia Joy, how are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is this your first time here? And yes, I just thanked Jose for introducing the two of us too. So I look forward to doing business with you since it's all out in the open. I usually don't talk about clients or potential clients, but you put it out in the open. So it's all good. It's all good. All right. So welcome since this is your first time here. So I got a question today from C.W. Bailey. He put it in the comments before I went live, or I didn't see it until we went live. And so today's question, or one of today's questions is Bitcoin taxed on realized gains? Is Bitcoin taxed on realized gains? Yes. Long story short, I won't make you wait, right? I won't make you sit around. I'm not going to bury Lee. Yes, Bitcoin is taxed on realized gains. Everything is taxed on realized gains. What are realized gains? I'm pretty sure people are talking about it. I just talked about Bitcoin, right? I just talked about me selling. So I had all this profit in Bitcoin. By the way, I only had like 8 shares, right? That's why I'm so mad. But I only had like 8 shares. What did I do? I saw this massive run up today. I said, all right, well, I must have missed it. It's a major run up. I'll cash out on 4 shares. It's a couple $100. I'll start cashing it out and moving it to some of my other accounts because I'm not really rocking with Robinhood anymore. Not because of what happened. What they did last week was totally fine. It was totally fine. It was totally fine. They didn't break any laws. I know a lot of people are starting to come out and sue them because they canceled orders, but they were right in doing what they did. I know y'all might not like that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So I sold out a couple shares. So now I went from having unrealized gains, right? So that's like the paper money when you see your stock or your Bitcoin might have gone up. So let's say you bought Bitcoin when it was $10 and you held it now because I think Bitcoin is at like 44,000. So you held it from $10 to $44,000. What a gain. What a gain, right? All of that is profit, but that's unrealized gains. The minute you sell that Bitcoin, it then becomes realized gains. And yes, you got to pay taxes on realized gains. So don't be bad. That happens with homes. That happens with stock. That happens with businesses. That happens with any asset 9 times out of 10 that you are selling. So you got to pay to play. Pay to play. It happens on every level. Pay to play is real, y'all. Some people like to kind of fancy it up and, make it something else and make it convenient for somebody else when it's for them, but it's pay to play. Taxes are definitely pay to play, y'all. All right. All right. So who's here with me? Who's rocking with me tonight, y'all? All right. Andy, Nicole Knowles here. Hey, Tara, you ain't been here for a minute. How you been? Nicole, you haven't been here for a minute either. Andy, how you doing, Andy? Philly Bar, how are you? M's Knowles 1, how you doing? How you doing? I am DSPN, that is my man, Dwight. What's up, Dwight? Scoob, I think that's your name, _Scoob. How you doing? Welcome. And DSPN says taxes. Yes, taxes is the other name for taxes is pay to play. You might not like it, but it is what it is. All right, so who else we got here? What questions y'all got? What y'all want to talk about tonight? Don Johnson is here, so y'all know the party can get started, right? That's the Black Wealth Project joke. Hi, Elaine. I thought you were here before. Oh, first time here on Wednesday. Love the discussions. But you've been here before, right, Elaine? But I'm glad you love these discussions. Don't keep me a secret. Share me out with somebody else who's looking to understand money on a deeper level. Yes, losses can be deducted from gains if you have other gains or other losses. So, for example, you have Bitcoin, but you know what? Let me back up for a minute. So, like losses and like gains can be subtracted from one another. Like gains and like losses can be subtracted. So, what am I saying? You have short-term profit and loss, or short-term capital gains and losses, and you have long-term capital gains and losses. Can anybody guess what a short-term capital gain loss is, or capital gain is? Anybody guess what time frame that is? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you can guess. Anybody know? Does anybody know what makes a long-term capital gain or capital loss? Don't do this to me, Tiffany. You want to get people mad at me. Right? Don't get mad at me. I don't think she has a case. But I didn't think the McDonald's lady who spilled hot coffee on her lap years ago had a case either, because everybody knew McDonald's coffee was hot. So at what point do we take responsibility for our actions? I don't know. And listen, so I don't see how Gorilla Glue it's an industrial glue. It's not meant for hair. It's not advertised as hair. I don't see how Gorilla Glue could be liable for this. But listen, I only play a lawyer on social media. I don't play a lawyer in real life. So we're going to say that for the people that actually do the litigation and do the law. Now, I know a lot of lawyers, and I like to debate with them from time to time because they keep me mentally sharp. But I know when I'm out of my depth, and when it comes to law, I'm out of my depth. All right, Dwight says she's not suing. Okay. I mean, she shouldn't. You got to take that L on your own. Like, why? And I'm not trying to make fun of the lady, right? I'm not. But why would you do that? Like, if that was my daughter and she put crazy glue in her hair, I would be puzzled beyond reason at all of that. I wouldn't understand it at all. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have. Well, I'll be mad if she told the world too, because then that's going to be a reflection on my parenting skills. And then people going to think I'm a janky parent. Like, why does your daughter think she can put crazy glue in her hair? You didn't train her better. That there's a difference between real shampoo and hair products and actual industrial glue. But yeah, so no, I don't think it is. All right, so nobody has put the answer in the chat. Y'all got caught up in the crazy glue, right? Or the Gorilla Glue. All right, so what makes the difference between a short-term loss and a long-term loss? Since y'all not really, I think y'all might be asleep. I ain't sure. All right, my man Don came through for me. Don came through. Long-term gains / losses are held more than 1 year. Yes. And in the inverse, right, the opposite, short-term gains and short-term losses are anything less than a year. By the way, just a fun fact. Everybody that made money on GameStop, everybody that made money on, AMC, you got to report that on your taxes. And for all the folks that follow the crowd, like blind sheep, and they can report some of their losses. Typically, you can only report up to $3,000 in losses. But I was talking about the losses going against the gains, right? So you can write off your losses against your gain up to a $3,000 loss. So for example, let's say you made $100,000 in the stock market, and let's make it a simple example. You made $100,000 in the stock market, in a long-term period, stocks you've owned for more than a year. But you had $103 in losses. So the $103 is more than 100,000. You have 3,000 left. You get to write off the 3,000. If you had $105,000 in losses, let's make it 106,000. If you had 106,000 in losses, you could only write off the 3,000, and you get to roll that over the other three, the remaining three, over for the next year. Because remember, it was 103 plus another 3, right? 106. So you get to roll it over. They call that net operating loss or net carry forward. So yeah, you can definitely do that. You definitely can do that. Yo, you try and get me in trouble. Is it M's Nose? So what's your thoughts? So M Nose says, what's your thoughts on how suddenly, like, what was that, Lionel Richie? I'm showing my age. But anyway, suddenly your thoughts on, wait a minute, let me back up. What are your thoughts on how suddenly every Philly dude now suddenly is fixing credit? I mean, I think some of y'all know what I would say. Y'all know I'm not. So I talk about credit. Credit's important, but I get in trouble because I tell people all the time, cash is king, credit is queen. Marry them together and you can build a mighty empire. However, cash will always be more important than credit. People don't like it when I say that. It's the rule. It's the first rule or the first axiom of finance that I learned, because guess what? I'm a finance major. I majored in finance at Temple University. I could have went anywhere else, but I chose to go to Temple. But there's a reason why cash is king. Because cash is actually the only thing you can truly have control over, even when you get credit. And again, this is no knock on credit. And yes, you can definitely leverage credit to build wealth. But at the end of the day, you still need your cash to pay for the credit that you spent. So at the end of the day, and listen, for anybody that's technical out there, we're speaking broadly about cash. So it can be the US dollar, the Japanese yen, it could be cowrie shells, it could be gold, it could be whatever currency we're talking about. All right, it's cash. All right, so, but I find it interesting. But listen, everybody's popping up now with their new hustle. Everybody's been bored in COVID. A lot of people realized and said, "Oh shoot, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know how I'm going to be able to make my mark on this world. I don't know if I don't know if I'm ever going to be something." If that makes sense. So, I get it. Some people want to try it, but what I always find is people love to ride the bandwagon. They see people hopping on and they want to do it. And listen, it's okay to follow the trend. Trend following and investments is a very, very powerful thing when you know what you're doing. The question is, like Kenny Rogers says, do you know when to hold them? Do you know when to fold them? Do you know when to walk away? Do you know when to run? You never count your money when you're sitting at the table, right? But those rules, although it may sound corny, it's real. It's real stuff. But, I guess that's why folks are wanting to do it. People are talking about it more. I would suggest y'all just do a good old Google search about some of the lawsuits you've seen about people doing credit restoration or fixing credit and all of that. And last thing about credit, there's a reason why there's $14 trillion in consumer debt on the books. Consumer debt is mainly credit card debt. Most people run stuff up, buy it, never pay it off, or they get caught in this whole debt cycle that's laden by compound interest. If you really want to see what some of the true gems of wealth are, look at compound interest and look at how credit card companies and banks use it to enrich themselves and their shareholders. So, by the way, you could always flip compound interest onto you to benefit from you. You just can't spend all your money on BS, nonsense, superfluous things, y'all. All right, so I got another question. All right, so the white ass, my question is for do-it-yourselfers. When should you consult a financial pro. My son's road dog has I'm sorry, y'all. My son's road dog has a substantial amount in his Robinhood account. So I think I'm gonna say this, y'all. I try to be objective about everything, right? Every financial pro ain't a financial pro, right? So I would encourage your son's homie to get real education, like real education. These courses are cool. Take it a step further. Read some books. Get to some people who actually work in the industry, but not as salespeople though, right? Follow some of the greats and see what they're saying. You have to ultimately make up your own decision. You should ultimately have your own process. But I would say educate yourself first. And for your son, I'll be honest, it's probably for your son's friend. It's probably going to be hard for him, right? He's young. He's got money. He doesn't know. Well, he thinks he knows everything. But until you go through a couple of market cycles, when you see the market go up and then go down like a roller coaster and then go back up and back down, that's when you kind of get humbled. So I've been through a couple of market cycles, so I'm humbled. I know anything can happen on any given day. Yep. So, M Knowles, no, don't say that. Don't tell me that. No. All right. So M Knowles says, agreed. I'm a Dave Ramsey fan. So you already know. All right. No comment. I ain't got no smoke for Dave tonight. Listen, I respect Dave's platform. I respect the fact that Dave or Mr. Ramsey has accumulated such a following. Being that all this started because I was on radio, Ramsey started on radio. I really, really respect what he's built. However, he's not a financial pro. He's just giving you his own experience. And that's cool, only up until it's not. And the reason I say it's cool only up until it's not is because that you really have to understand theory. You have to understand how theory is then applied. And you need to see it over multiple cases. He has his radio callers. He definitely has people that he refers to, like he refers a lot of people in his tax business. I get it. I'm not mad at him. But some of the things he says, i.e., like, that's never good, or his total abandonment of that. And I get it. Dave Ramsey is entertainment. He's not really a financial pro. So when they're programming his show, they have to program his show where it's appealing to as many people in his audience, if not. But it's middle class income. And I don't say that to diss anybody in the middle class, right? But by following that, you're only going to be able to get but so far. And that's cool if that's what you want to do. That's totally cool if that's what you want to do. However, if you really want to like run it up and you're coming from the bottom, you're coming from 0 and you're going to 100, you're coming from the mud and you're trying to build it up, you might have to learn how to responsibly use debt. You might have to learn how to develop real discipline and use that. That's all my comments. I don't really hate it. Some people really hate Dave Ramsey. I don't hate him. Again, I appreciate and respect what he's done. Isaac Renee, how you doing? What's up, Trey 3? How you doing, man? I was just arguing with your pop earlier today. That's what we do. All right, so what other questions we got? What other questions do we have? All right. Right, I got that one already. All right, when you switch gears to taxes, claiming home office expenses on taxes when you have an LLC partnership, how does that work? Ooh. Usually you get to write it off on your own. You get a K1 and then you have to roll that K1 into your overall business. So, but it depends. It depends on what's going on, because it could be passive, right? Your partnership could be passive or it could be active. So I would need a little bit more to know to truly dive deep and answer that question. All right, Jose, you got it. You got it. Long-term gains. Yep. All right, okay, right. So you were here on Saturday, and I most definitely will invite others. I appreciate that. Listen, Elaine, brand new here, is being a good role model for you all. You all should do what Elaine does. All right. No, I mean, M knows I try to keep it funky every day. I don't know how to do it. I blame my daddy. My dad put this thing into my head, and I'm not making this up. My dad put this thing into my head, when you tell a lie, you have to tell another lie to make another lie, and tell another lie to make up another lie so you don't get caught. So I just own up to all my stuff because my memory is not that good. And I would mess up the lie. And then by me messing up the lie, I would look stupid. I don't like looking stupid. Now, that's probably some stuff that came out of my childhood as well, right? Because I got a group of friends that I grew up with. It's about 20, this is somewhere between 20 and 25 of us. We're still friends now. We're friends over 35 years. But God, when we get going, the mom jokes are on deck. The dad jokes are on deck. If you got ugly babies, they gonna get bust on too. It don't matter. Anything that is a vulnerability for you, you getting called out on it. So I always try to the ironclad my stuff, read a little extra more, ask a couple questions extra in class just to make sure that I know my stuff. So I'm being vulnerable with y'all tonight, y'all. All right. My man Karan, what's up, man? How you doing? Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here, sir. The girl, no, she's 40. That young lady is 40. That young lady is old enough to be my children's mother. She's not a child. If you're talking about Gorilla Glue Girl, Karan, no, she's not a child. She's not. Well, physically, she is not a child. And again, this is not. Everybody matures at different times. So I don't know. You know what? My homegirl Mo's here. Mo, Miss Agility, 40 years old, using Gorilla Glue. Yes, no? Are they old enough to know better? What do you think? Philly PDR, how are you? Welcome. VMC Ty, how are you? Welcome. Tiger Investments, welcome. DSPN says, what's the daily 1% rule of investing? So that's not really investing. That's really about trading. Some people like to be able to trade and make 1% a day. Some people can do it. Some people can actually do it. Most can, though. Most usually let their emotions get the most of them. So. All right. So, Elaine, I think I lost. You said you agree with me. And then you said, is it timing? All right. So it's what timing? Yes. The cash is king. Absolutely. Curious. Did I hear you say that you do not like IPOs for the average person? Yes, I said that. I stand on it and I mean it, people. IPOs are not for average people. What's an IPO? I've talked about this several times, right? IPO is initial public offering. That's the time when a private company, private corporation transitions and becomes a public company. And thus, being a public company, they can then accept investment dollars from everybody, right? Everybody who has a brokerage account, everybody who can get there for the most part. All right. But what happens is the whole process of going public to private, the real wealth is in the transition from private to public. And there's a whole lot of other shenanigans that take place. And I shouldn't call them shenanigans, but the other things that happen when you go from private to public that actually gives the wealth advantage to it should be, right? To the founders and to the early investors, to the people that took the risk early. That's who gets it. Now, if you are an accredited investor, don't ask me the numbers off the top of my head. I want to say it's 200,000 a year. It's either 200 or 250,000 a year, and $1 million in assets. You have to do one or the other. Either you have to $1 million in assets, or you have to make 200 or 300,000 a year. You got to have money, right? If you're an accredited investor, a lot of times you're able to get access to invest in these companies pre-IPO, right? pre the point where they transition from private to public. And so that's when you're able to really run it up. That's when you get the most leverage. That's when you get the most opportunity. The day of the IPO, what happens is, so I used to be institutional. If you don't know me, Elaine, I used to work on quote unquote institutional investment firms, selling and buying stocks, managing portfolios on Wall Street. And what happens is all the big banks call all the companies like mine before the IPO. They say, hey, I have an allotment. I'm willing to sell you this amount of shares, right? I learned this when GM went public many, many years ago, went republic after the big crash. And so all those shares before the IPO comes get sold to the big investors, to the professional investors. All right. And so everybody kind of gets psyched about the IPO price, which they shouldn't. The IPO price is just the price that they're selling to the people like I used to be, right? They're not selling it to the people that are regular mom and pop shops, Joe and Jane, Schmo and Doe. They don't care about them. They're a different class, right? And I'm not trying to be elitist. I'm just telling you what it is. And so ultimately, when the regular retail investor gets a chance to buy those shares, a lot of times they tend to get ran up. Because I want y'all to understand this. Many of these corporate events, and when I say corporate events, IPO is a corporate event, stock splits, the corporate events, they're also great marketing tactics or strategies. They're great ways to get eyeballs on their company as well. They know that. That's why you always see these frenzies. That's why you tend to see these companies run up on the first day of trading, first day of the IPO. It runs up. Price is enormous. Price is out to Mars, went past the moon, out to Mars, on the way to Jupiter, right? It's skyrocketed out the ballpark. And the value doesn't keep up with it either, right? And then what happens is after a day or so, the stock tends to retreat, fall back, drop in price. Very similar to what GameStop did the other week. Very similar to what AMC did the other week, right? It went up, and then it kind of falls. So I always tell people, don't buy the first day of the IPO. Watch, just like I was telling y'all talking about Tilray. I didn't buy Tilray on the first day it popped, or the first day it launched. I bought it like a month after. I wanted to watch it. I wanted to research it. I wanted to get more into it. So that's what I suggest for everybody as well. All right. Hopefully, let me know if that answered your question. If not, I'll try to do a better job of explaining it. Yes, the markets will absolutely expose you. Richard, what's up, Rich? He says he's a character. He's talking about Dave Ramsey. Yeah. I mean, but listen, people call me a character sometimes, right? I get it. Right? Because they say, Kamara, you're here. You're talking to the people about money. It's a show. You're having a show. You're putting on a show. Okay. I just don't want to bore y'all. But I never want to lie to y'all either. So that's my thing. What's up, Alton? How you doing, brother? All right, Lane says it's true. What's up, Marvin? How you doing, man? Yes, Karan, she's 40. Yes, the lady is 40. But listen, the glue did a great job, right? I mean, how can you be mad at that? It was shiny. It didn't move. I mean, she probably didn't have to put on a bonnet or anything. I mean, so kind of like game over. It's like a great thing. Alton, I feel like you asked me this question before. So Melody Alton asks, what's your opinion on all these SPACs hitting the market instead of companies going to the IPO route? So what does SPAC mean? SPAC means special purchase acquisition company or special purchase acquisition corporation. I always get it confused. All right, so SPACs, I mean, they're trying to save some money by not paying the heavy listing fees when you do the IPO. Yes, you had to pay the big banks, You have to pay the big banks money to list your stuff. They make money off of it. That's a major way of how they make money off of it. They're trying to do that. They're trying to go, around the market or around the regular structure of the market. They're trying to get out of regulation too. Just let's be clear. They're trying to get around some of the regulation too. I'm not mad about it. I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. But a lot of them are trash. So I think it's just up to us to know that and proceed with caution. Trey, why am I not surprised you asked me about DraftKings? But DraftKings is running it up. I can't even front. And sports gambling has actually grown too. I didn't get to see what the numbers were for the Super Bowl, but supposedly they were on track to do higher numbers than the previous year, even among COVID. So DraftKings, they're like the biggest mover in there. I haven't looked at the company. I know why. I know a lot of people were interested in it. You know what? I'll pull it up. I will pull it up since you asked about a trade. Now, for everybody that is watching on IG, sorry, y'all, I can't share my screen, but I am going to pull my screen up on YouTube and Facebook. All right, so I'll pull it up on YouTube and Facebook. And for those who are watching the podcast, I will try my best to show this as well or walk through this as well. So DraftKings, give me 1 second while I pull the chart up. All right, y'all, keep y'all questions rolling in. Keep liking and sharing it. Listen, I take it personally if y'all don't like my stuff. My feelings get hurt. Hopefully y'all don't want to hurt my feelings. I'm a really nice guy. I hope y'all know that. All right, so let's pull this up. Let's pull this up. All right, can y'all see this? Let me know. Let me just go ahead and blow it up. Let me just go ahead and blow it up. Sadly, I have to figure out a different way to illustrate some of these charts in a better fashion. Let me know if y'all can see that. All right, and let me turn this off real quick. All right, so that's Tilray. Tilray closed the day at $63.91. Had a high of 67. Oh, it must have hit 75 in aftermarket. So it must hit 75 in aftermarket. So DraftKings. Let's look at DraftKings real quick. I'm not going to bore y'all all night. Oh, you know what? I broke my first rule. What's the first rule when we look at a company, y'all? I went to the chart, but technically, I should have went to finance.yahoo.com. So hold on 1 second. Quick audible. By the way, anybody watch Super Bowl? What did y'all think about it? Was it entertaining? Did you like the game? I'm mad that I guess the quarterback you got to give him his props, even though he's a fan and a friend of the Orange Monkey. But, he won again, y'all. What do you want to say? Can't hate on a winner, even though he has monkey friends. But it is what it is. All right, so give me 1 second. Let's pull up DraftKings. I thought the commercials were whack this year. There's like 2 commercials. Usually it's a lot better. Usually. All right, so I am switching gears. I'm going back to follow my rules. All right, so I'm going to DraftKings, yahoo.finance.com. All right, DraftKings is a $62.71 stock. That's what it closed at today. It's a $24.5 billion company. $24.5 billion company. Not bad. Doesn't pay a dividend. And it has roughly about 10 million shares in volume daily. on average. 17 million, almost 18 million daily. So about 17 million shares are traded of DraftKings every day. That's important. Shows that there's a lot of interest in the stock. Makes about 400. All right, so the year closing 12/31/2019, it made 323 million in revenue. That's everything they sold. All right, everything they did. Now, what did they get to put in their pocket? What was the net profit? Was there a net profit? And nope, they've been losing money. They've been losing money for the last 3 years. They've been losing money. Now, with the advent of gaming, with the advent of gambling, you're going to see things like a DraftKings do way better. Now, what is the true definition of what DraftKings is doing? What are they about? DraftKings operates as a digital sports entertainment and gaming company in the United States. The company provides users with daily sports betting, and iGaming opportunities, right? See, I thought it was just all fantasy. It's also involved in design and development of sports betting and casino gaming platform software for online and retail sportsbook and casino gaming products. The company distributes its product offerings through various channels, including traditional websites, direct app downloads, and direct-to-consumer digital platforms. DraftKings is headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts. All right, so it's always good to kind of get a good rundown over what the company does to see if, as they're going along, are they staying true to their mission and what they're all about. All right, so this company is losing money. All right, company's losing money. But online gaming is getting bigger, to Trey's point. You got to see the trend. The trend is getting bigger. New Jersey just got online gaming. And from what I understand, they're doing more revenue than everybody. They're doing more revenue than Vegas. So that's very impressive. All right. So last time they reported the annual reports, they had about almost $77 million in cash. So let's see what they did during their last quarter. So during their last quarter, which was September 30th, 2020, they should be coming out soon. They had about $1 billion on the books in terms of cash. So their cash stakes are growing. That's always a good thing. Now, I'm not going to dig too deep into this because then that means I would have to go to the balance sheet and look to see where that money came from. All right. We don't have that much time today, but Trey, I think DraftKings probably has some potential just because of the online nature or how everything is moving. We're seeing more states legalizing gambling. So it'll make more opportunities for companies like DraftKings to come on and offer their wares to people or constituents in those states. So I'd say keep a watch on it. Don't gamble with it. Actually study it, research it, and then make a decision to invest or not. By the way, nothing I say on the show is a buy or sell recommendation. Nothing I say on this show is investment advice. This whole show is for education and entertainment purposes. I think after all the years of y'all checking me out and watching me, y'all should know that by now. So don't be coming back to me and say, Kamari said to buy DraftKings. Kamari said to sell DraftKings. Past performance is not an indication of future results. Just because a stock did bad in the past doesn't mean it will continue to do bad in the future. Just because a stock did good in the past does not mean it will continue to do good in the future. All right? Do your due diligence. Make sure you check in with an investment or tax advisor before you do any investing. All right? Make sure y'all keep that in mind. All right, so I had another question. So I'm not even going to look at the chart for DraftKings because it doesn't matter at this point. I say look at the fundamentals first, especially if you're not a chartist. And what I mean by chartist, like you don't read charts. Remember, my show, my whole mission, my calling is to help more people get on their wealth path, more people get on their wealth journey. So I don't really go a whole lot into the intermediate things. I know them, I understand them, I participate in them. Same thing for some of the advanced things as well. But, I want to make it simple, easy, and plain for folks. When you start getting super duper advanced, and, I know sometimes I will nerd out and go to the charts, but it's not really the best place to start, in my opinion. All right, so VMC_Ty says, I watched your story on your other Instagram page. You talked about write-offs. Okay, you talked about write-offs for your taxes for your side hustle. Would I explain that to my tax preparer so they can handle that? Absolutely. He or she or he, tax pro, should be able to handle that. It's a secret power. I'm gonna tell y'all now, it's a secret power. You don't really have a wealth strategy until you have a tax strategy. What does that mean? Well, how do you plan to combat and leverage the tax strategy for your benefit? We like to run around and make jokes about the $750 that the orange monkey had to pay in taxes. And, we never really think about what he did. We looked at the end results and what he did. By the way, he probably did some unscrupulous things because his whole mantra and makeup is unscrupulity, if that's a word. He's unscrupulous. So I would say you got to look and just at least understand the core and the foundation of what he did. He's a real estate owner, right? And I hate to talk about him because he's terrible. He's like the worst human being ever, or one of the worst human beings ever. But real estate is one of the most privileged asset classes in the tax code. You are incentivized to buy real estate in the tax code, right? So I tell people all the time, if you really want to leverage the tax code, become a business owner or an investor, and especially a real estate investor. Now, y'all know, everybody who's been rocking with me, y'all know I love the stock market. Stock market, you can get some tax advantages. It pales in comparison to what you get in the real estate market. Again, I believe in just keeping it funky. I'm not going to try to lie to y'all to get y'all to like me better or to sell more or just whatever. I'm just going to give it to you straight. So if you have a side hustle, by the way, VMC, what is your side hustle since we're talking about it? All right, if you have a side hustle, you can do that. You can work 9 to 5 for your favorite fast food chain, or your favorite delivery company, or some doctor's office or lawyer's office, wherever. And then from 6 to 12, you can run your other business. And with internet and e-commerce, you can do that more so now than ever before. So it's at your fingertips. By the way, one of the reasons why I love the stock market, and just follow me for a minute. One of the reasons why I love the stock market so much is because the stock market doesn't care about your race, your creed, your ethnicity, your color, your weight, your size, right? Doesn't care about your gender, your sexuality, or anything. They only care if you have money to invest or if you're looking to sell. That's all it cares about. E-commerce, very much the same thing. You can have a website selling chia pets, right? I love chia pets. Let me clarify. I don't actually own a chia pet. I love the story of chia pets because chia pets absolutely have no value at all, right? But people were able to sell them. You could sell chia pets online. Nobody know it's you. People want to buy a chia pet. Now, obviously, I don't know if there's any copyright, patent, or trade infringement going on with you selling them, but I'm just using it as an example. But you could sell your product or your service. You could sell t-shirts. You could sell hats. You could sell courses, right? You don't even have to put your face on it. Nobody has to know it's you. But if your marketing's good, hopefully your product's good, e-commerce is just as powerful as the stock market, if not more powerful in some ways. So that's just my thoughts on that. Hopefully that helps you on that, VMC. DV Brown, how are you? Chubb I Mac, how are you? This is Gales, how are you? Sean Living Life One, how are you? Tony BJJ, how are you? Takara, how are you? Kay Landers, how you doing? Roderick, how are you? Black Mama Vodka. What's up, lady? How are you? Hey, sir, nice beanie. Yeah, I love my beanies. Provided by a young, black-owned business sister doing her thing. Funny enough, I wore this one day. They saw me on these. Remember, I was talking about my friends, my 20, 30 plus friends, and like 10 of them, no, or like 7 of them brought hats just from this lady. So it could happen just like that. All right. So Rich says, seems like they would have shut down SPACs by now. You would think, but kooky stuff happens. But VMC, let us know what you do. Keep those questions rolling, folks. Keep those questions rolling. Mr. Dennis, Michael Dennis, how are you, sir? Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Marvin says, yep, the weekend was, I like the weekend too. Like his first album is crazy, even though his first album is all about drugs and women, but that's a whole other story. He fell off in a short time. Yeah, but he does a lot of stuff. Him and Drake have worked together a lot too. That should give you a hint about some things. Can you explain price of sales? You just take your price, right? Your price of your stock, and you divide it. It's a ratio. A lot of people use that ratio to see if your stock price is comparable with the sales that you have as well. So you take your stock price and then you divide it by your sales, right? But before you get to that point, you're dividing your sales over the amount of shares that you have outstanding, right? Sometimes you'll see it talked about as EPS, earnings per share. And so then you divide those two, and then they talk about the ratios. Ratios are cool. Like PE is cool, PB is cool, PS is cool. They're all cool. But here's the thing. None of them are end-all be-alls. None of them. You get a lot of people talking about price to earnings ratios and how you shouldn't have a company that's over, 15. 15 used to be a fairly valued company. There ain't hardly no companies at a PE of 15. If you look at Tesla, y'all know I'm not a fan of Tesla, but when you look at their PE, it's trash. I would hate to see what Tesla's price to sales earning is. Matter of fact, Alton, since you keep asking me about price to sales or PS, that's your homework this week. I need you to look up Tesla's price to sales. And I want you to compare that price to sales to GM's price to sales, to Volkswagen's price to sales, to Ford's price to sales, and to Chrysler. Well, Chrysler, I don't think it's public. But find all the public companies and compare them for me. Can you do that for me, Alton? I'm not trying to bark orders at you, but I know you love being here, and I would love to get you more involved in the show. All right, so VSLP is here. Leo Lady says, nice cap. Thank you. Thank you. I can't think of the lady's name. She's actually on IG. I got to find it and put it out there. Black Legacy, how are you? All right. Southern Trey, how are you? Welcome. All right, so we out? No more questions? Did I miss any? We done for the night, y'all? Because y'all know I'm going to eat my vittles. I got a big old salad with my name on it. Got a big old salad with my name on it. Okay, so Ms. Gail said, I brought a small amount of shares from several companies because I'm just starting. Prices were low. Okay, that's cool. What companies you want to share? You probably could have did the same thing inside of an ETF. I hope you didn't buy penny stocks. Please don't tell me you bought penny stocks. I hate penny stocks. Penny stocks are the spawns of the devil. Everybody loves them because they're cheap. But nobody thinks about risk. And when I'm talking about risk, I'm talking about the risk of losing money. Doesn't matter if you lose $50 or $50,000, right? If the possibility is higher to lose, I say you avoid it. It's probably the possibility of, or the probability of losing $50 in penny stocks is probably way higher than it is in losing $50,000 in blue chip companies. So So Ms. Gail says, now they are rising. How do I buy more? Why do you have to buy more? I mean, you can, right? Don't get me wrong. You can, but why do you feel you have to buy more? Now, I hope you didn't buy Tilray because you saw me talking about Tilray. What is that? What is that? So if you want to continue and you believe in those companies for the long haul, you can do what I tell a lot of people to do. Just dollar cost invest, or DCA or dollar cost invest, right? Dollar cost averaging. All dollar cost averaging is saying, let's say you take $25 every time you get paid. Take $25 every time you get paid. Let's say you get paid every week. So every week you take $25 and you invest into the companies that you have. And you just do it whether they're up, whether they're down. Because if they're good companies, right? Because again, this is all for beginners, all for beginning investing. So a beginner investor should only focus on buying good companies. Y'all can do all the sexy trading and options and commodities and Forex stuff later. Just get the basics first. And so when you start, right, buy good companies. So if you believe they're good companies, because again, when we are buying these stocks, we are buying pieces of a company, a piece of a business, ownership in the business. So buy good companies. And typically, not always, but typically over time, if it's a good company, the stock price will rise because good companies tend to make more and more money. So the more money they make, typically the stock price gets higher. Sometimes you have companies like Tesla who don't make no profits at all, have fans that feel that they make money, but most of their profits come from these credits. They don't come from car sales. And, people keep buying. But I want us to be a little bit more savvy than that. We can be beginners, but we can be a little bit more smarter than that. All right. Michael, I feel like you asked me that question before. That's some kind of electric battery company, right? Right. Fuel cell energy. All right. So Michael asked, what are my thoughts about FCEL? About FCEL. All right, Ms. Gills, I'm glad that's good. Don't be shy. Don't let any of y'all be shy. Ask y'all questions. I don't want to sit here and just talk to myself, y'all. That would be boring. I would stop doing it. Like, I'm really not the person who will just sit and talk and talk and talk. Just to talk, just for the sake of talking. If I got something to say, I'll say it, but I ain't gonna sit here and just talk just for the sake of talking. I don't like hearing my voice that much. Honestly, I don't like hearing my voice at all. But again, that's no whole other thing. All right, so let me pull up fuel cells on the screen. Give me 1 second, people. All right, $26.52. Let's look at it. Fuel cell, $22.57. Keep y'all questions rolling in. I'll be here for a few more minutes, but we're going to go through fuel cell energy, ticker symbol FCEL. FCEL for those who cannot watch and visually follow along. Okay, it is an $8.5 billion company. Let's look here. No dividend paid. No dividend paid. Trades about 73 million shares a day. All right, let's look at their profile. And I do this all the time. So y'all should know by now that every time we think about a stock, let's just see what it's trading for, what it's doing, what it looked like. All right, so Fuel Cell Energy, Inc., together with the subsidiaries, designs, manufactures, sells, installs, operates, and services stationary fuel cell power plants for distributed baseload power generation. Ooh, it sounds sexy. The company offers a short source product line based on carbonite fuel cell technology in various configurations, including on-site power, utility grid support, distributed hydrogen and carbon utilization, as well as microgrid and multi-megawatt applications, and short source recovery power plants for natural gas pipeline applications. It also provides short source capture system that separates and consolidates carbon dioxide from the flue gases of natural gas, biomass, or coal-fired power plants, as well as industrial facilities and SOFC and SOEC, and energy storage, a solution for energy storage using solid oxide technology. The company's source power plants generate clean electricity, usable heat, water, and hydrogen. It serves various markets such as utilities and independent power producers, industrial and process applications, educational and healthcare. Okay, so they're widespread, they're diversified in their revenue sources, data centers and communications, wastewater treatment, government, Morco grinds. I don't know what that word is. I'll have to look it up. And commercial and hospitality. The company primarily operates in the United States, South Korea, England, Germany, and Switzerland. Fuel Cell Energy was founded in 1969 and is headquartered in Danbury, Connecticut. All right, that wasn't bad, y'all. I don't even misspoke a couple of words. Y'all got to give me a prize for that or something. All right, so let's see where the money at. Where the money reside, y'all. All right, so on an annual basis, the last time they reported their annual results, they did about 70 billion. No, 70 million. They did about 70 million in revenue. And they are losing money. And they've been losing money for at least the last 3 years. But they've been around since 69. So I would be really interested to see what's going on, because I know they haven't been losing money since 1969. All right, 140. They got about 150 million in cash. That's impressive for where they are. Now, that was as of the last annual report. I want to look at the last quarterly report. So they're still about 150 million. This is interesting, because I do feel that EV's here. The president said it. Everybody's announced it. EV's here. Electrical vehicles are here. One of the things that they're going to have to get through is expanding the grid and having more charging stations for electronic vehicle cars. Because again, I think we talked about this the other day. I mean, the government's talking about replacing 600,000-ish vehicles, all electronic. So that's going to be a hell of a feat, but I think it's able to be done. But again, in order for it to be viable for the government to operate like that, there's going to have to be some kind of infrastructure change, which is something that's back on the table now that we have a new president, a new administration. It's something that's long overdue. Actually, that's something that could help fuel the next leg of the stock market, because the economy probably is going to leg up and rebound really, really sharply once we get some of these things going. So I think that's definitely going to be a factor as well. I don't know, Michael. I gotta look at this a little bit more deeply. I can't render yay or nay on this. I will render and say that this is fascinating. By the way, again, this is not investment advice, folks. This is not investment advice. All right, so eating is overrated? I don't know about that, Kurt. What are we talking about, man? All right, if you have a 5-year goal, should you invest in growth index large cap? It depends on, so time horizon is probably the most important thing when it comes to long-term investing. How long can you put your money at play and not tamper with it or touch it? Other thing that comes into play, though, is how sensitive are you to market volatility, i.e., how sensitive are you to the ups and downs, the massive swings in the stock market? So I would say, so if you were saving for 5 years, depending on what it was, I probably would use a blended strategy. I would put a nice piece of it in the stock market. I would look at some other slower growing but safe assets to be there, right? Because that's like retirement time. They call it the retirement red zone. So in that red zone, that 5 years or so period, you can't afford to lose that money, right? Just using the retirement analogy, because you can't go back and work longer. Now you can if you mess it up, but that's not the goal. The goal is to retire. So if you want to, if you're 16, you want to retire at 65, you're like, man, I'm getting tired. I don't want to get up. When I get up, I'm aching. It gets hard. I'm experiencing some of that now, y'all. Sometimes when I walk down the steps, these old knees of mine, ooh. But you might say, I don't want to work for another 5 years. I want to relax. So you have to employ a strategy to make sure that your money will be there to start generating the income for you and not get lost to the market. Because it does happen sometimes, y'all. It does happen sometimes. So again, don't listen to these social media gurus and these people that just started doing this. Why? Because they don't know shit. Excuse me. I told you I said I was going to stop cussing. But they don't understand strategy. They know what might have worked for them, but they don't understand what will work for you. So, your strategy has to be for you, just like everything else, right? Just like if you got multiple kids. For example, my daughter doesn't like bananas. My son will eat everything under the sun. Literally. Just about. He doesn't like cheese. Go figure. Right? So she don't like bananas. He don't like cheese. I got to do custom food for them to a certain degree. Or my wife has to do custom food for them to a certain degree. So, I would just make sure that whatever you're looking to do, whatever your goal is, just go about it very judiciously. All right, so Mike says yes. Marvin says, what are your thoughts on Naked? We talked about Naked before. All right, let's look at Naked. I feel like y'all just like all the same stocks. Come on, give me something else. You asked me about Naked because you asked me about penny stocks. I just told y'all earlier today I hate penny stocks. Penny stocks are the spawns of the devil. I keep telling y'all. Y'all need to look up, Google 50 cent and penny stocks. Penny stocks. And the reason why I don't like penny stocks is because they are easily succumb to pump and dump scenarios, just like GameStop was about a week ago. It was just all good. It was all good just a week ago, y'all. So yeah, they can have massive swings. We're seeing it ran up 33% today. Yeah, that's sexy. We can see, let's see here. It's $1.52 now. At the beginning of the year, it was 21 cents. What's fueling that gain? Are they making money? Did they get a new deal? Like, what fundamentally changed about that? Or are they just riding the whims of the market? Or just being a tool for somebody to pump up the stock so they can dump it and get your money? There's a reason why these companies don't trade on major billboards or major stock exchanges. Michael, I don't know enough to answer that question. I would like to say yes. I think yes, but I would really need to get into it. They're into, infrastructure and grids and all of that. I would say yes again, just off the top, but I don't know. I would want to look and see. One, we all know that U.S. grid, the U.S. electrical grid isn't that great. It needs a lot of upgrades, but just how much money will go into it or needs to go into it. So, hey, Angela, how you doing? Hello and happy Wednesday, Kamari, Ellis, EA, and everyone else. Hello to you. Elaine, I use a lot of stuff to do research. I'm still recovering from my loss. I used to have a Bloomberg terminal. I missed that thing. Still going through withdrawal. Probably one of the greatest pieces of software ever invented. But I would say you can look at finance.yahoo.com. Start looking at that. I would say when you're looking at stocks, investing in them, whether they're stocks or the ETFs, go to If they're ETFs, look at the top 10 and start researching the actual individual stocks. And you can start by reading the annual report. Every company has an annual report. You can read those. Gives you a clue about the company. Gives you a clue about what's going on. I really don't care much about analyst reports. Yes, analyst reports can be a shortcut, right? Because they're doing some of the work for you. However, they can be a disaster as well, because some of the analysts out there are not scrupulous. And you can see that by looking at companies like an Enron or WorldCom, where they worked for a company, an investment bank, and then they wrote great reports for the brokerage side just to entice their people to come in and buy the stock or look at the stock in a sexy light. Supposedly all that is gone now. I'm going to tell you what they say, but I still don't trust it. I'm just saying. Oh man, George Dandridge is in the building. K&B Tax is in the building. Oh man, what's up? My tax sister, my tax brother. Now, K&B loves those penny stocks. The Daily Tina. I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. How are you? Yes, Vanessa, how are you? Welcome, everybody. Financial Flow, how are you? Aquanel 19. I hope I'm saying your name right. How are you? Ramon B, how are you? Welcome. All right, so love the ad. All right, cool. I love the ad too. Keeps my head warm. Y'all know I ain't got much hair up there, so I got to keep it warm. Oh, you were asking for that? That's cool. Marvin, you like those penny stocks. What about TXMD? Is that a penny stock? That gives me penny stock vibes. TXMD. Therapeutics MD. It is indeed a penny stock, but we'll look at it real quick. Anything below $5 is a penny stock, y'all. Anything below $5 is a penny stock. Therapeutics MD, TXMD. Let's see what they do. Stock price $2.17. I don't know what I was about to say. Company's worth $650 million. So this is what you call a micro cap. Depending on who you're looking at, they might call it a nano cap. What do they do? Therapeutics MD Inc. operates as a women's healthcare company in the United States. The company offers IMVEXXY for the treatment of moderate to severe dysphoria. I know I'm jacking that up. And I'm not going to sound out my vowels and use my phonetics because y'all going to laugh at me. All right, so it's a bioidentical hormone therapy combination of 17A. Progestogen for the treatment of moderate to severe vasomotor symptoms. I don't know what any of this is. I don't want to mansplain any of this either. Contraceptive vaginal. I can't be saying those words on here, y'all. I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, so clearly it is a lady's treatment. I'm not exactly sure. I would have to do research. And I don't want to mansplain y'all because y'all not going to say I'm being condescending to y'all. Oh, wait. I wanted to see how much money they had in the bank, though. Because even with all this, we still got to see where the dollars and cents reside. Did sales of roughly 49 million, almost 50 million in 2019. All right. And not profitable. Okay. But 3 years ago, they were 3 years ago, they were not profitable. Looking at the wrong line. They haven't been profitable in the last 3 years. And the losses have grown over the last 3 years. So anytime I see losses grow, that gets me worried. However, revenue has grown too, but it still gets me worried. Mr. Chappelle, how are you, sir? Saeed, you see that? You see those weed stocks today? Or excuse me, the cannabis stocks. International Hove, how are you? DJ O'Reilly, how you doing? All right. No more penny stocks tonight, y'all. Please. All right, so what other questions we got before we wrap up? All right, so Thompson says, I love ETFs, VOO, VGT, and VIG. VOO and VGT are Vanguard stocks. They are just about one of the biggest ETF manufacturers or producers in the market. I think VIG is an ETF from Vanguard as well. Yep. Okay. Yep. Vanguard dividend appreciation. Matter of fact, I'm almost certain I talked about them the other week when I talked about doing dividend stock research. You could always start with a dividend ETF because, again, they're kind of doing the work for you. All right. So Dante Myers, how are you, sir? Welcome, welcome, welcome. What about EVA? Is this a penny stock? Please tell me this is not a penny stock, y'all. Y'all gotta be nice to me. So, all right, this is not a penny stock. So, Enviva, hopefully I'm saying it right. Give me 1 second to pull it up on the screen. I don't think I've ever heard of Enviva before. Enviva Partners. So this is an LP. So this is interesting, right? A lot of times you'll see mainly corporations on the stock market. Every now and again, you will see LPs or limited partnerships on the stock market. Like, I want to say Madison Square Garden at one point was a partnership. The Boston Celtics were a partnership at one point and on the market. So this company is trading for 30, excuse me. Why am I messing up words, y'all? I'm tired. $53.15. Again, $53.15 is what it closed at. It's a $2 billion company. It pays a dividend of $3 per share or 5.62%. Let's see what they do. Lumber and wood, okay, located in Bethesda, Maryland. Enviva Partners produces and sells utility-grade wood pellets. The company's products are used as a substitute for coal and dedicated in coal-fired power generation and combined heat and power plants. So they're doing like the whole wood stove thing, just at a massive scale. All right, so it serves power generations primarily in the United Kingdom, Europe, and Japan. Enviva Partners LLC operates as a general partnership of the company Enviva Partners LP. Was founded in 2015 and is based in Bethesda, Maryland. This is interesting. They pay a dividend. They're not that old. Usually dividends are reserved. Usually dividends are reserved for the more mature companies, what are typically called value companies. But they're already paying it. Last annual report, they made $684 million. Had a profit of roughly $36 million. Margins are thin, but that's to be expected. This is interesting, y'all. This is interesting. All right, so let's see how much money they have. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't look to see what the trend was as it relates to. They're making money. They're making more money every year. And is their profit increasing every year? No, the profit isn't really increasing every year. But I would have to dig deeper to see what's going on with it. But they're making money. They are making money. Let's see how much cash they have. They have about $9 million in the bank, another $72 million in receivables. All right, what do they have as of last quarter? So their last quarter was closing 9/30/2020. They had about $1 billion in the bank. Still a lot of receivables, but they had about $1 billion in the bank. Not bad. That's interesting. I won't say I don't think it's bad. It's better than some of these penny stocks y'all been throwing at me all night. But are you invested in that, Dante? If so, why? Out of curiosity. Fabrice says, do you think the rise in the number of inexperienced retail investors in the past year could lead to a bubble soon? Yes. We just saw it last week. Pure Trini Love, how you doing? Got mad love for my Trini Massive. If you look at GameStop, I don't know why I couldn't think of their name just now, but GameStop, if you look at AMC Theaters, if you look at Nokia, a lot of them got pumped up. And it started with retail. We did see, like I talked about before, some institutional people coming in, some professionals coming in and basically pushing the stock higher. But yeah, I'm going to see a lot of it. A lot of these inexperienced people are bad. I don't know if anybody's seen this, right? So over the summer, last summer, young man committed suicide. Young man was using Robinhood. His account came in. He got a margin call. Nobody's calling it a margin call, but he got a margin call because he was trading options, and he committed suicide. And now his parents are considering, or actually about to file the papers to sue him. I find that interesting. Find it a little odd, honestly, but they are going to sue Robinhood because they feel like Robinhood should have been more attentive to their son. The son sent about 3 emails in the middle of the night. And since Robinhood didn't get back to them until the next morning, they're not happy to his son, and their son committed suicide in the middle of the night as well. But Robinhood actually returned the emails. Robinhood doesn't have an actual customer service line that you can call, so they feel that that's bad. And again, it's Robinhood's fault that their son committed suicide. Now, I will say this: Robinhood has extended margin and giving more access to people, giving access to people who should not have access to margin to various investment products. In my opinion, these are my opinions. These are only the opinions of Mar, the finance rebel, no one else, right? So people want to sue. I get it. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to this young man or this young man's family, but I don't know that that's any different than the young lady with the Gorilla Glue. And I'm just being honest. Again, it's sad that that young man died, but I would venture to say that he probably had some mental health issues before any of this even occurred. And so it's kind of sad to really blame everything on Robinhood. Again, I'm not here to protect Robinhood. I'm just, again, looking at the facts. So yeah. And guess what? Every time people get really, really excited about the markets, every time you see novices talking about the markets, there's usually a bubble that follows. I talked about the business cycle / economic cycle / the stock market cycle on one of our wealthy conversations, which we have on Saturday at noon. And I talked about it. This is a cycle and how patterns repeat themselves. And that the stock market is probably the greatest reflection of human emotion ever, right? Because you get to see it, all the emotion. Every time you see people really buy in a frenzy, in a phrase, they are buying because they're being greedy. They're not being rational at all. Rationality has gone out of the window. Everybody is in a craze. So you can see it. And then when people start to sell off, like, again, erratically, they're fearful. Again, logic, rationale, out the window. Nobody cares about that. They just want to save their money because they believe the sky's falling and they want to protect their hides. All right. So keep a lookout for it. So Melanie Allen says, I ain't going to lie. I've been making a killing with penny stocks. That's cool. Broke clock is right twice a day. So certainly today with SNDL, but I'll take your homework assignment. And I meant to tell you that I'm working on becoming a chartist. That's cool. I am a chartist myself, right? I blend charting or technical analysis with fundamental analysis all the time. So that's just me. You ride with Ethereum in the crypto space? Crypto space is like mine to me. It's cool. It's here. Crypto's here. I like blockchain the most. I mean, but Ethereum has been killing it. I said, well, since everybody wants to buy Dogecoin, maybe I'll buy Dogecoin. Maybe. If y'all been following me for a while, y'all know my thoughts about Bitcoin. So, Marvin says, been looking at NIO or NEO. I always forget how to say that company. This is the battery company. They've had consistent growth over the last few months. I'm guessing that because of how people are now spending their leisure time and the move away from cable TV. I'm wondering how stable it is. So when you say they've had consistent growth, are you talking about stock growth, Marvin, or are you talking about business and revenue growth or business and profit growth? I'm guessing you're talking about stock growth. Because if I'm correct, I believe NEO is still not profitable. I'm not sure. Let me look it up. Because I don't know who buys their stuff. Yeah, so they had like a $10 million loss, $10 billion loss. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, again, it's their tech. It's their tech that could blow. So I'm not going to invalidate NIO or NEO, whatever their name is. I am looking at who can potentially do infrastructure and power station or charging station work. I am very interested in that. And they definitely are in part of that mix because of their battery tech. So, all right, let's see. So with gambling on the rise on CNBC, the gambling ETF bets was mentioned and its chart is lovely. Isn't investing ETFs a bit different from regular stocks? It's a bit different, but that's what I did when I was institutional. I ran a ETF portfolio. Now, my boss at the time, who's genius, by the way, I should have taken his advice. He said, Kamari, I want you to become the ETF specialist. I want everybody to think about it. When they think about ETFs, I want them to think about Kamari. He was right. I didn't do that. And I did. This article is written about me, interviews all over the place about ETFs and ETF space. But at the end of the day, right, the ETF is still only going to perform as well as the base underlying that's underneath it. And so in my mind at the time, I couldn't understand his genius at the time. In my mind, I couldn't understand just doing it because it wasn't right, if y'all get what I'm saying, right? So the underlying is what's driving the ETF. And so usually when you look at these ETFs, they're usually several hundred, if not several thousand stocks that make up an index. For example, the S&P 500 is the 500 largest stocks in the United States. And so typically only, let's say, 1 to 10, the top 10 really drive the performance of the overall stock. Now, there's some other performance indicators that are driving it as well. But for the most part, when you see Apple go up, that's when you see the Qs go up, or QQQ, right? That ETF. But it's really Apple and Microsoft that's really driving that growth. And so I always said you can use a combination of ETFs and stock to build out great portfolios. But what I didn't realize is, and his genius was, is ETFs were the brand new spanking thing. They were just getting hot. Had I positioned myself better in the market, it would have definitely taken me to a different place. Definitely. But it's a little different. And so you could also use it as a kind of a guidepost. You can use that bets ETF as a guidepost to find out who are the biggest bettors and research them. You can kind of leverage some of their research, some of their homework, and kind of cheat a little bit. Listen, this isn't K through 12 school where they tell you that, you can have you can't have open book tests. We can absolutely have open book tests, y'all. Do the research, leverage the folks. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Yeah, yep, renewable energy. Well, I don't know how renewable wood is though. IIPR is We've talked about IPR. I want to say that's a data center, right? That does data center stuff, and they definitely have ran it up. So IIPR is really, really sexy. It's $210, $5 billion. And they made 44 million bucks. And they made roughly, got great margins, $29 million in profits. That's nice. Stock growth. Okay. So it sounds like it's a short term. It's a short term play for you, though. Those penny stocks. It's not long term. I don't know if your name is Steven or Stefan. And so forgive me either way. Can you send me your information so you can coach me one-on-one how I should invest my money in the weed market? I love to take your money. I really would. There's a whole video on my YouTube channel that told you my opinion on it. It is not going to differ. I told people to buy the ETF. And the reason why I told people to buy the ETF, by the way, this is not investment advice. This is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All right. So Miss Gales, you're going to be the last one I look up because I'm hungry. It's 9:30. All right. But I said to buy the ETF because not all of these stocks are going to survive. Not all of these weed stocks are going to survive. We have no idea what's going to happen over the next 10 years. Now, if you're just looking to kind of run it up in the next couple months or so, I'm not really your guy for that. No diss. I'm just saying I'm here for the beginners and for those who are looking to build a long-term portfolio. But we could talk. We could always talk, Stefan. You can text me at 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. If you want to do any coaching or any consulting, just hit me up, 215-974-0058. All right, so let me get through these. So Miss Gales, you are the last one. And Miss Elaine, you are the last one. My man, Jack. Hey, Jack, we need to talk. I need to get you on the show. You talk about your new business. I've been meaning to reach out to you, but every time I go to reach out to you, I get stuck on the phone with the IRS. Melanie Allen says, where did you get that hat? I got this hat from a black-owned business that's on IG. I can't think of the name of them though. So don't hate on me. I'll get it and I'll send it to you. SMH, yep, that's a semiconductor ETF. No. IIPR isn't I thought IIPR was the digital REIT. Let me look. I could be wrong. It's happened before. All right. Innovative Industrial Properties is a self-advised Maryland corporation focused on the acquisition, ownership, and management of specialized properties leased to experienced self-licensed operators for their regulated medical use cannabis facilities. That's why reading is fundamental, folks. I skipped over that part. And we have gone over IIPR several times. So Alton, you are right, my friend. Brought some more IIPR today. All right, so are you dollar cost averaging into that, Talton? Correct me if I'm saying names wrong, y'all. Y'all know I hate that. Miss Elaine, text me again, 215-974-0058. 215-974-0058, and just let me know what you got going on. No problem, sir. Nah, we discussed them. Yeah, right. I knew. So I go through so many of these. Sometimes, really, I'm reading multiple comments now. I thought, all right, I will do my due diligence and I'll go back. I will go back and check. So if you text me, then yes, I owe you return text. I try to text everybody back in a couple of days time. Sometimes I get a little caught up, y'all. Joe Brown asks, what do I think about Robinhood? I think Robinhood is cool, but I'm taking my money and I'm moving off the platform. I'm going to a company called Public. I told you about Public the other day. It's more of a social media enabled brokerage account where I can show my holdings. I can talk about the rationale of my holdings. I like it. It's pretty cool. So I put this out to everybody. If y'all all want to get with me and come on over to Public, y'all can use my link. You will get a stock. I will get a stock. It's a mutually beneficial exchange, but I do want to disclose that I will get some type of incentive for it. So I don't want none of y'all to say, oh man, he just did that sentence over there and he getting paid off of it. No, I'm an open book, folks. All right, so I'll put it on the screen if any of you all want to rock with me over there. And so it's bit.ly, bit.ly/FR public invite. Again, bit.ly bit.ly/FR public invite. All right. Jack, you need an affiliate code for my YouTube channel? I don't know how to do that because I don't get paid off my YouTube channel. It's funny, my YouTube channel, I've been granted access to monetize it, and it's weird. I'm starting to get some growth, but sometimes it grows and sometimes it doesn't. And I'm pretty consistent. I'm starting to rev it up even more. I do want to grow the channel, so I could have some more flexibility to do some things. But yep, it's Talk Public. Now, Joe, what link is that? What are we talking about? Or are you putting your number out there? Because my number is 215-974-0058. What? That's. Oh, well, Jack. Well, I appreciate that, man. I've gotten some growth this month. YouTube is hard. YouTube is hard. YouTube is like the hardest platform. Or maybe I just suck because I'm not doing a whole bunch of gimmicks and stuff on there. But YouTube is rough. YouTube is definitely rough. Let's see. Now I promised Miss Gail something. She wanted me to look up something. Okay. APPH. All right. So over the last 30 days, I've had 187 new subscribers on my YouTube channel. Some people are like, getting 10,000 new subscribers a month is good. So clearly I'm way off the mark, y'all. And Missy Lane, I will definitely text you back. My apologies. All right, so this is the last one, y'all. Last one. Nomad Life, how are you? Didn't see you got in here. Mid-Atlantic says I got bets at $15 back in January. Yo, let me hold some, bro. You ran it up. That's great. That's great. Congratulations. Sammy Smooths is here. Thoughts on grayscale Bitcoin? You know what? I've seen it. I'll be honest, I haven't really looked at it. I'll look at it. Let me make a note of that. I know all of y'all, again, love the Bitcoin, love all the stuff exciting. But again, to the people that aren't as vocal as y'all, right? Because there's a lot of people that's kind of watching the shadows, right? I really do cater these shows and this content to the beginner, right? And most beginners who don't have, any idea of savings, what they're doing in terms of savings, how to budget, when to budget, what to budget. A lot of times I don't want to encourage them to get into any crypto. Now, for the record, for those who are interested, I believe anybody can dollar cost average into something. $25 a pay, $10 a pay, whatever it may be. And you still can take care of the majority of your responsibilities, your financial responsibilities. But I get people all the time to say, hey, I want to put my savings into Bitcoin. Okay, how much savings do you have? $500. Okay, what happens if your money stops coming in? Your job goes away. Would you be okay? No. How long could you last? Maybe a month. That's not cool, yo. The average American cannot make it past a $400 emergency. We got to make savings a priority. And y'all know I love investing. I love the stock market, but we got to put everything in context. You can save and invest at the same time, right? Again, you can dollar cost average it. You would be surprised how many 401k millionaires there are, even though there's so many 401k bashers in social media, brainless gurus floating around out here, right? I'm just being honest. But what is 401k? It's dollar cost averaging with a match, right? So you get some free money and you systematically are investing continuously. Those two things together are very, very powerful, y'all. Very, very powerful. All right, so let's answer Miss Gales. I don't want nobody to feel ignored or left out. Y'all mad at me. I think I spelled it wrong. But Jack, I appreciate that. And Jack, I'm serious. We need to talk. I want to have you come on. I want to talk about your new business. All right, so we are pulling up Miss Gale's App Harvest, ticker symbol APPH. APPH. 2 P's. Say that 10 times real fast, y'all. All right, so it's trading at $36. Landed flat on our money today. Market cap, or the value of the company, is $3.5 billion. All right, no dividend. Trades about $1.2 million a day in stock. That's the volume. It has hit a high of $42.90 over the last 52 weeks, and it's been as low as $9.83. So let me just look at this. What do they do? App Harvest. Okay, anybody? Consumer defense. So it sounds like an insecticide or something. All right, so App Harvest engages in building and operating controlled environment greenhouse farms for producing agricultural products. Its greenhouses distribute more water and reduces usage of water. The company produces vegetables. App Harvest was founded in 2017 and is based in Lexington, Kentucky. Let me see something here. Let me see something here. Let me see something here real quick. Nope, that's not it. So this company is actually interesting, y'all. It's well, I didn't show it to y'all. It's very interesting. Very interesting. So basically, they're a company that does a bunch of greenhouses to grow vegetables without the use of the land and without a whole bunch of runoff or waste of water. That's kind of impressive. Let's see. It's not giving me a lot of data on it. So, okay. So sometimes Yahoo doesn't have everything. And, right. Yeah, I would have to do a deeper dive on this, but this is definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. So what I would do is I would go to the actual site, to the company's website, and I would read their annual report and any S1s. I'm not sure when they went public. Ms. Gales, when did they go public? Now they started in 2017, but when did they go public? Okay, it looks like they just went public last year, July 1st, 2020. That's why there's not much on them. All right, all right. P. Wills, 3117, thanks for joining us. Mr. Troy Martin, how you doing? Gabo Wan, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm messing up. Rebecca Williams, low key popping. Miss Gales, did you hear what I had to say about APPH? And low key popping, I haven't forgotten about you. You put a question up, Miss Gales. Why? What did you miss? Let's all leave here on the same accord. So, I mean, it looks interesting, but it's a brand new company. So I don't have a whole lot of information to go off to really build any real opinion on it. Okay. All right. But listen, if y'all want to talk a little bit about this more, text me. I won't be able to get back right away all the time. I do have to make money. If I don't make money, my wife's going to put me out and my kids are going to call me a deadbeat dad. Can't let that happen, right? Right. The narrative about black dads is already damaged enough. So I got to make some money, y'all. But text me and I'll usually try to get back to you in a fairly good manner of time. All right. So again, for all of y'all who asked about consulting and wanted to talk, again, 215-974-0058. Again, 215-974-0058. All right, y'all. I appreciate everybody. We'll be back on Saturday. Not sure what we're going to talk about Saturday. Anybody got any recommendations? Anybody interested in anything? Now, Saturday, we like to do our deep dive. I like to teach about something. What are y'all interested in? Pretty soon we're going to start doing some series too. But what are y'all interested in? What do you want to learn? What are you curious about? All right, so throw it in the chat. And I will be back next time. Y'all know I'm here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. doing Wealthy Wednesdays, and that's not going to stop. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And so I will see you all next time. I'll see you all on Saturday at noon. See you next Wednesday at 8. All right, Saturday at noon, next Wednesday at 8. Thank you all for being here. Always humble that you're here. Have a great night. Bye-bye.